Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am the Kilted Cajun, and tonight we made it. I made it. Did you make it? Did you watch it? Episode 9 of She-Hulk. The final, the finale, the end of the pain, at least for a little while. I genuinely do hope that they renew this for another season. Not because I think the show's going to get any better, but hey, I need something to watch. Well, there's going to be a lot of stuff I'm watching. I have a nice little list of stuff that I'm looking forward to, genuinely looking forward to. She-Hulk's not one of them, unless, of course, it's something I can make fun of. Maybe the writing will get, maybe the writing will get better for season 2, but I doubt it. So, in this episode, I'm smacking again. Goodness gracious. Oh my god. In this episode, we start off by making fun, parodying. They do a mock-up of the original Bruce Banner Hulk TV show from back before you were born. Probably back before half of you were born that are actually watching my show. Thank you again. Thank you as always. We're getting close to the lovely 69 subscribers. And yes, I am that juvenile. I really am. I'm going to celebrate. Get me to 69 subscribers. And I'm going to do a celebration stream. Why not? Scorn comes out tomorrow. I'm going to break off on all kinds of stuff. Scorn comes out tomorrow on the Xbox Game Pass. So that stream will easily be over on Twitch. Haven't streamed on Twitch in forever. It's the Kilted Cajun. Anyway, if you follow me over here, you can find me over there. Hey, come on. Let's go have some fun on a grotesque looking game that looks like H.R. Geiger's Wet Dream. It looks gloriously, grotesquely fantastic. Anyway, back to this abomination. When Abomination comes in. Oh, spoiler. Who cares? So they do a little mock-up of the original intro for the Hulk TV show from back in the 80s. And the CGI was better than the regular episode. I don't know why they did that, but it is what it is. So what we have in this episode is cameo, nonsensical ending, and yeah, that's about it. Opens up as when we last saw Jennifer, she was She-Hulk being arrested by magical police, by CD Projekt Red police officers from Cyberpunk pointing guns at her. We open up here with her in prison, where the super lawyer team shows up to chastise her for what she did. Jennifer just wants to go. She wants to get retribution for a bunch of dudes that leaked her sex tape. Okay, talking about, I think at some point she mentions defamation, which is like, that's not defamation because all they did was tell the truth. So, oh well. Oh. Make inhibitors. Oh, yeah. I've forgotten half of the episode, and I watched it 2 hours ago. I knew I should have made this video because it's so forgettable. The only episode people are going to remember is episode 8, thanks to this guy right over here, Mr. Charlie Cox. Matt Murdock, Daredevil. That's it. Who cares about She-Hulk? She didn't do anything in this series. There was no character growth. They tried to. Okay, I'm going to go through the whole review, the whole episode, and I'm going to give my thoughts at the end. So we're in the prison, and they offer her a reprieve to allow her out of jail after threatening to kill someone, almost killing people. Oh, if she wears the inhibitor. I was 2.5 minutes into the episode and I was already irritated as all hell just because of the inhibitor, this thing that Jennifer Walters wanted from Bruce all the way back in the first episode that Bruce claimed couldn't be made just willy-nilly. And yet by now we have 2 inhibitors, one for Emil Blonsky and one for Jennifer Walters, even though, first of all, Bruce isn't on the goddamn planet to make them. So who made them? Do the writers even watch the show? Is there any... this is a rhetorical question because I already know the answer. Is there any continuity? Absolutely not. How do you know? Because Wong's a fugitive. They don't address that at all in any of the episodes. And guess what? Well, no, no, that's not true. They address it in this episode in the post-credit scene. We'll talk about that later. I hate these writers. Suddenly, you can make inhibitors just, oh, for anybody. So, oh, Jennifer wants an inhibitor. And now, of course, because suddenly, she's suddenly coming to terms with being She-Hulk and Jennifer Walters, and they take it away from her. So now, obviously, because they tell her she can't be She-Hulk, she wants to be She-Hulk. This is juvenile writing. They're portraying Jennifer Walters as a child. She doesn't want to do anything unless you tell her she can't. What? Anyway, she agrees to the inhibitor that they magicked out of their fucking asses. I don't care. I'm not monetized yet. She gets out of prison, gets fired from her job because, you know, she tried to kill people and attacked all that stuff. Anyway, fired from her job, loses her apartment, or, you know, apparently her attorney's salary was piss. So, or she, you know, whatever. I'm not going to get back on track, learn how to speak coherently, and maybe I wouldn't mumble so much. Unfortunately, my brain moves faster than my mouth can keep up with. Loses her apartment, moves back in with mommy and daddy. And immediately, which is actually fine, because her parents are very, very supportive. Her father, which, I don't know, in the current state of Hollywood, it is kind of, I don't know, uncommon to have a positive male figure. I'm gonna be that guy. They can't go one single episode without insulting a male role model, with the exception of the father. He is and Charlie Cox, probably because, you know, Matt Murdock, Daredevil, probably because they wouldn't allow it, because hey, he's getting his own series, so you can't insult the star of your next series, the only one that is likely to have better ratings than anything Marvel on Disney Plus. That's a guarantee. Is it going to be good? I don't know. Am I going to watch it? Of course I am. But I have to watch Netflix Daredevil first, and Punisher. I got to watch those. No, I haven't watched them. I'm sorry. So, moves back in, and all of a sudden she wants to go on this investigation into Intelligentsia, to find all these crying, mean, nasty man babies who insult her and think that she stole Hulk's power, even though that's not how it happened. It's not how it works. Real people would not be saying these things in a universe where superheroes exist. They are this constant attempt at making fun of criticism, people who criticize the direction that all these stories are going. You're taking real world criticism and putting into a fantasy world where superheroes actually exist. It doesn't work. You have to change things up. You have to move words around, take some words out, add your own to make it make sense. A word I learned recently is called, I'm going to butcher this, verisimilitude. Essentially, it is the believability of something that you're watching on TV. Star Trek, verisimilitude. There was the science about it that it made it believable. It allowed suspension of disbelief. You could allow yourself to be pulled into the setting because it was believable. Batman is believable because rich dude able to spend millions of dollars on a bunch of gadgets that allow him to do all these things. It is believable. This, it's just not. So, during this little investigation, they have the news on, and it's going through different bits and pieces and parts of the aftermath of She-Hulk's attack. And Douchey McDoucheface from the assistant DA's office decides they're doing an interview on TV. And this is the part where it's flat out, it's not defamation. Let's see. He lies. He talks about him and Jennifer Walters were dating and she was crazy before becoming the She-Hulk. It's like, and Jennifer Walters just lets that pass. It's like, no, that's a lie. Wouldn't you be going after him? I mean, that's the easy part. I had to get something to drink. So, just absolute. Pursuing She-Hulk like writers just can't help it. Yeah. Jennifer goes to her phone because she's lonely and she's upset, which honestly, well, it's understandable. It's one of the more realistic parts of the writing in the show. So she tries to call Bruce. Now, on her phone, her own cousin. Sure, it's a joke, but again, the writers put this in the show. This is intentional. Smug Hulk. Sure, it's a joke. It's a bad joke. Jokes like that shows you what the writers think, right? How the writers feel. And just, one thing after another. She can't get in touch with Bruce because, of course, Bruce is off in another galaxy. So she decides to try and get in touch with Emil Blonsky. Buckle in, folks, because a whole bunch of we didn't see that coming, except everybody else, everyone who's watching the show saw it all coming. We go to Emil Blonsky, and she wants to crash his little get-together. His retreat, his council chamber. So she hops in her car and goes out to meet Emil Blonsky. At the same time, her paralegal friend and Pug manage to find their way into a secret meeting with pretty much a snap of a finger of all the dudes in Intelligentsia, the Intelligentsia Reddit forum. So they managed to find their way in, and it's a matter of. And my first thought was, wow, they're either using every single set over and over again, or you look at the inside of their meeting hall. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's Emil Blonsky's place. Shocker to no one. Ooh. Bad guy gets on stage, talks about this, that, and the other. And I'm just going to fast forward through all this. We get to the point where Abomination comes on stage. Jennifer Walters makes her way in. Pug is, inside and has already figured things out. Paralegal friend comes in, and there's this big, massive confrontation and everything. And Abomination turns back into Emil Blonsky, and bad guy on stage. What's his name? Todd. Of course it's Todd. He gives himself a shot of Jennifer's blood. I don't even want to talk about that because it unless you gave Jennifer Walters massive sedatives, you wouldn't have been able to do it, because as soon as you shot her and tried to draw her blood, she would have woken up, turned into She-Hulk, and kicked his ass. But anyway, who cares about logic in this show? There is no logic in this show. So now, I've told myself I would compliment this show when I felt it deserved it. And this is where I'll compliment the show, because I think it deserves it. With a caveat. Jennifer actually looks at the camera, because at one point, Blonsky turns into the Abomination because Todd Hulk is standing there and wants to go after Jennifer. So Abomination picks Jennifer up and protects her, and then all of a sudden Titania breaks through the wall. Bruce shows up, and of course everyone's just waiting for Daredevil to show up. He doesn't yet. And that's when all this stuff is going on, and Jennifer just stops and pretty much has a massive what the fuck moment, breaks the fourth wall and goes, this is getting ridiculous. The self-awareness of the show, I'll give them that. The amount of self-awareness here is ridiculous. Wanting the cameos, and this is a ridiculous ending. None of this makes sense. Bruce showing up doesn't make sense. And then it cuts to, I guess, the loading screens for Disney Plus. Jennifer doesn't accept that, so she pulls the inhibitor. You hear her in the background pulling the inhibitor off. She breaks through her panel on Disney Plus, looks around, sees another panel for the Marvel documentary, so she hops out of the screen, jumps down. This is all fourth wall breaking. Removes the panel for the Marvel documentary and walks through it to, ta-da, she is suddenly in the real world. So, again, this is, I'm not going to use the word rip off because that's too obvious. It is paying homage to Daredevil Kills DC or Daredevil Kills Marvel or any one of the other ones. No, I guess it was just Daredevil, where Daredevil enters the Marvel Studios and kills everybody. So, except She-Hulk. It would have made it better if She-Hulk would have shown up in the writer's room and just trashed the place. That would have been funnier. But she doesn't. She just confronts the writers, and they're a bunch of idiots. She's complaining about this, and they say, well, Kevin wrote it. makes everybody think it's Kevin Feige, but apparently if you have your subtitles on, it's Kevin, capital letters with periods in the middle, so you know it's an anagram. So great, okay, Kevin's a robot. Shocker. Jennifer wants to, She-Hulk, because she is She-Hulk now, goes to see Kevin, sees that Kevin's a robot. I don't care about the whole process of going through it because She-Hulk versus humans, whatever. Moves on. Meets Kevin in a room, and again we have more self-aware fourth wall breaking, where Kevin says, "I will only talk to you as Jennifer Walters, but because the CGI budget, it costs too much." So, but she has to turn back into Jennifer Walters while the camera is panning away because the team that does the CGI work is off on another project. You're trying to be funny with something that just insults your product. Self-deprecating humor does not always land. There's a talent there. The writers in this show do not have that skill to land self-deprecating humor. You need lessons. Anyway, camera breaks away. Jennifer Walters, she's back. They go back and forth, talk, complain, and Jennifer is complaining about where her show's going and how bad this and how bad that. And it's taking all the criticism that people have had. It's almost as if they knew this was coming. Because it's so on the nose, they knew what was about to happen when their show was released. They could see the criticisms that were there, which is slightly mind-boggling because why would you make the show like this? Why would you make a show like this intentionally crap? All publicity is good publicity. No, it's not. When someone watches the first episode and checks out because the CGI is shit, the writing is shit, and everyone gets pissed off about Jennifer's speech to Bruce Banner, they check out and they wait for other morons like me and to sit there and watch the show and suffer through it and give our opinions of it. And I'm going to give my constructive criticism. I'm going to say, is this good? I'm going to go from my point of view. And what ends up happening is someone like me watches it, makes a review, sticks it on YouTube. Other people who are considering checking out the show, they go take a look at me or one of the many, many other channels who have decided to voice their opinions. And they go, nah, it's good that I checked out after the first episode. But whatever. The CGI is still crap in this episode. Closing argument, Jennifer Walters gives her argument how she wants the episode to end. She decides on the anticlimactic episode and how she wants to end it. And it's mind-boggling. I understand it could have been this big spectacle. They wanted to break away from the spectacles and everything. And let's get to the end of the show. Outside, while they're arresting Mr. Bad Guy, Jennifer says she's going to sue him. Daredevil shows up out of the sky for no other reason. I thought, it was a decent attempt at comedy writing because he shows up and goes, "I'm here to help." And Jennifer says, "Yeah, we're done. You missed it all." And and his response is, "Really? All of it?" And yeah, he shows up because, Jennifer wished him, essentially wrote him back into the script because she wanted to get some Matt Murdock poontang. And good on you, Jennifer. Get you some of that blind man who doesn't know what you look like. Anyway, that's a bad joke. The episode ends with family gathering at the end. This is my family, even though it's not, because she insults her own family, and her mom and dad start talking about, insinuating that Matt Murdock and Jennifer Walters, they're gonna bump uglies and have kids and get married and all this other stuff. And Bruce shows up. Remember Smug Hulk? And he wants to tell everybody where he's been, but first he introduces his son. That's it. Oh, and the episode, there is a post-credit scene that solidifies that Wong is a fugitive from the United States government. Did you not think about that? He breaks Emil Blonsky out of prison again and takes him back to Comitage. Wong is a criminal now. He's a bad guy. He is on the run, fugitive from the U.S. government. And it will never be brought up again. Why do I know that? Because he made himself a fugitive in a previous episodes and it was never brought up again. Because these writers don't know how to write. They have no idea. They have nothing about continuity or anything like that. Now, my honest opinion about this episode. I've mentioned it before. I think this episode is better than all but episode 8. However, I see it as better than the rest, as the same as stepping on a dried dog turd being better than stepping on a fresh dog turd with bare feet. You're still stepping on dog turd. It's still not all that, it's still not great. It's still crap. Imagine an Olympic gymnast rolling around like a 2-year-old toddler all over the floor, arms flailing, Jesus, arms flailing all over the place. And then all of a sudden, right at the end, they stand up, cut a backflip, and stick the landing. That is how I would describe this season of She-Hulk. It is nonsensical episodes that are barely interconnected in any way, shape, or form. Like just even the most, just barely. Things are brought up that are never addressed or contradicted constantly in this show. Jennifer Walters as an attorney is piss poor and should have been disbarred at best, at worst arrested for threatening another person with a demon dog. As far as being a superhero, no. Character growth, you want to sit there and argue with me, oh, she had character growth and she came to the realization that maybe she could be a superhero in the last episode and a half. That's not character growth. For the entire season, she is shallow, superficial, judgmental, and hypocritical. Period. Insulting a dude in a bar because they flirted with him, complimented them, offered to buy them a drink, and then walked away after being rejected. Did not pursue the issue. Said, if you change your mind, you know where I am. Walked away. That's not creepy. You're just to see you next Tuesday. That's ridiculous. It just, in every single episode, they take every opportunity to insult men, either through the actors in the show acting like absolute misogynistic pig morons. Men don't talk like that. I'm sorry. Men do not sit there and go, hey, there's a woman over there. I'm going to go talk to it. Men don't talk like this. The most sexist men in the world do not refer to women as it. They refer to them as babe, cutie, sexy. Hey, honey. What's up, sugar? That's how they give its terms of endearment with a little emphasis on the bow chicka wow wow. It? No. That does not happen. I genuinely challenge anyone. If someone's talked to you like that, like, give me proof. It just, and I'm not talking about morons on Twitter either. Twitter is not, that's a place I go for comedy. I try not to pay too much attention to it. I'll just cry in my cereal at night. The writing in this, the courtroom scenes are terrible. It's absolutely nonsensical. I've been saying this every single episode. If you like these shows, this season, and I'm not talking about Daredevil in episode 8, because he's not part of the season. He's not part of the show. He's a cameo. I'm talking about She-Hulk, the writing in She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, the lawyer comedy that failed at both of them. Claiming the series is good because Daredevil showed up and they did a decent job not emasculating him, because I'll disagree with people. I don't think his character was ruined at all. I mean, the walk of shame. Men don't have shame. We don't. I'm sorry, ladies. We don't. We really don't. He just got laid and he got to walk home, smile on his face, whistling the entire way, or waiting for his driver to show up. That was not a walk of shame. That was a poor attempt at a joke. Much like the rest of this entire series, one poor attempt at a joke falling flat over and over again. However, I am interested to see what sort of explanation they give for the Hulk's son. I am interested to see what Disney Plus does to Daredevil. I've been told that they're bringing the entire cast along with the actor that played the Punisher. I'm interested to see how they do it. I cannot help but hold out hope that maybe, just maybe, someone is going to pull their head out of their ass, realize who they're making this for, and who they need to be making this for. Because the people they're making this for don't spend money. They're inserting their own ideologies into these shows, their own personal experiences with the self-inserts and the man-hating bullshit, with She-Hulk as an example. There's no continuity. Maybe make the shows for the people who want to watch superhero shows, the comic book lovers. About the best thing that could happen right now is all the delays with the next phase of Marvel. Everything's pretty much been pushed back a year for rewrites for whatever reason it is. It might actually be the best thing to happen to the MCU right now, because one of two things is going to happen. People are going to forget just how bad Phase 4 is, and maybe, just maybe, you can get better writers, better directors, and less mouthy actors and actresses to just shut the hell up, stop blasting the fans online, and just go, hey, here's my show. Let me know what you think. And maybe just listen to the criticism and stop calling people racist, misogynist, istophobes. Please, entertain us. Write something good. That's all we want. If you can do that, I promise you, we'll throw money at you. We always have, and we always will. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Like if you did, dislike if you did. I thank you for making it this far, and to everyone who's decided to subscribe to my channel, God bless you for coming and hanging out with me. Have a good one.